Get ready with me while I talk about my engagement. Welcome back to Vlogmas. It is 1 month since I've been engaged and I've been teasing that this video was coming for a while. So I thought today we would get ready for the day while we just kind of talk about it and I'll tell you the story. Okay, so we were in the Dominican Republic last month for vacation, and the reason we went on this vacation is because my friend from high school was getting married, and so it was the first destination wedding that either of us have been to. And just for backstory, we've been together for 6 years and we've lived together for a year and a half. And a couple of people asked me before the vacation if I thought that he was going to propose, and I told everybody no. I really just didn't think he was going to propose. I thought that we hadn't really talked about it, and I just really didn't think so. So all of this was totally a surprise to me. So basically the wedding was on Wednesday of the week, but we were there until Sunday. So we had a couple of days of wedding stuff and then a couple of days of just relaxing, enjoying our vacation, like not wedding related. And when we checked into the hotel, they gave us the option to make reservations for their restaurants. So it was an all-inclusive resort, and there was buffets that just anybody can go to at any point in the day. And there was a couple of other included meals. But if you wanted to eat in the a la carte restaurants, it was all included, obviously, but you had to book reservations. They told us that 3 of the reservations were included and at no additional cost. And outside of those 3, if you wanted additional reservations, you put them on your room and settled up with them later. So we were trying to figure out what was the best way to use these 3 reservations. And again, I didn't know anything about the engagement at this point. And so we were thinking like, okay, well, we have wedding stuff on this night, wedding stuff on this night, just trying to arrange and book on the days that there wasn't wedding festivities going on. And then when it came down to picking for our last 2 nights, they were like, oh, do you want Friday or Saturday? And I was like, I guess Friday. And Tyler said, actually, let's go with Saturday. It's our last night there. Like, we can just kind of have a last hurrah. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That tracks. I didn't really think anything of it because that logic was totally normal. So all that happened earlier in the week, and then we get to the end of the week. After all of the wedding stuff is done, we get to Friday morning. And Friday morning, we woke up, and that was our one day that I thought we had no plans. We had no reservations. The last wedding thing ended on Thursday. It kind of worked out that we were going to have one free day, just kind of no plans, do whatever we wanted, experience parts of the hotel that we hadn't seen before. So we wake up Friday morning, and Tyler goes, what are we doing today? And I was like, remember, this is our free day. We have no plans. And he goes, actually, we have reservations at 5. And I was like, at 5? What do you mean? Like, we don't have reservations. And he said, yeah, I booked us reservations. And I was like, here? And he was like, no. And I was like, you booked us an excursion? And he was like, sure. And I was like, okay. And he's like, we leave at 5. We meet in the lobby at 5. Like, okay. And I had like a split moment of time where I was like, is this a proposal? But it was the furthest thing from my mind. Like I said, we hadn't talked about it. We were there for somebody else's wedding. It was just, the stars didn't align, I thought. And just more backstory, on Thursday, the day before that, we had gone on a brunch cruise, like a boat cruise, for the morning and the afternoon, and they took us to this cool lagoon where we swam, and it was the whole wedding party, everybody that was there for the wedding. And I don't know if maybe the food was left out too long, or I don't know, but my stomach hurt so bad all Thursday evening and into Friday. And it was bad. My stomach was super, super messed up. So all day I was like kind of anxious about these 5 o'clock reservations because I was feeling so sick. I hadn't been able to eat anything. And here's what I thought the 5 o'clock reservation was. Because we kept seeing all of these ads for like romantic lobster dinner on the beach for 2. And it was like decently priced, and we kept seeing them a lot of places. We could book it through the hotel. We could book it through like a third party. We kept seeing people on the beach walking by with these signs. So that's what I thought it was. And all day I was thinking, oh my gosh, my stomach hurts so bad. How am I going to be like away from the hotel? without like, you know, medicine or a bathroom, or I was just kind of stressing about it. But also I don't like surprises, and my fiance knows that. And so he knew better than to tell me prior to Friday morning, but he knew he needed to tell me Friday morning because he couldn't just spring it on me at like 4:30. So he did think through that, and that was very good of him. So then it came time to get ready to go to this mysterious 5 o'clock reservation, and I wasn't sure what to wear because I didn't know what we were doing, but I also didn't want to go all out and have it just be like something normal, because at this point I still had that 1% of my mind that thought maybe this was the proposal, but 99% was like, no, that's not what this is, and I don't want to think that that's what it is and then disappoint myself, you know? So I just wore a pretty simple dress that I brought, and I put my hair up, and I didn't really wear makeup, which looking back, I'm glad that I kind of did that because that was like me naturally in my element on vacation. I don't like to wear a lot of makeup on vacation. I like to be comfortable, and it was so hot and humid while we were there that I just needed my hair up. So we go down to the lobby at 1:45. And then he's like, oh, I need to go back and get my sunglasses. And I was like, okay, I'll go back with you. And he's like, no, you can stay here. I was like, you want me to stay in the lobby alone? And he was like, no, I guess not. So we went back, and now I know that he was getting the ring, but I just kept thinking like he's acting a little bit strange. But again, still didn't think there was much of it. I just kind of knew that he was trying to plan a surprise and, you know, maybe stressed that it was, you know, all gonna work out okay. I don't know. I still at this point had no idea. And people have been like, come on, Lena, how did you really not know? But I just really didn't. I just really thought it was the furthest thing from my mind. Not that I didn't want it to happen, but like I said, we hadn't talked about it. And he's a very simple person, like not a grand gesture type of person, and I'm fine with that. So if you had asked me how he was going to propose, this would have been the furthest thing from my mind. Which again, looking back, I love it, but just going into it, no idea. So we go back up, he somehow sneaks the ring into his pocket, and I'm like trying to look around, look at his pockets, see if I see a ring box, but I still was like, Lena, this is ridiculous. That's not what's happening. Like, stop overthinking it. He's just trying to do something nice for you on vacation. So 5 o'clock comes and goes. 5:10 comes and goes. 5:15 comes and goes. And at this point, I'm like, Tyler, I think you got scammed. I was like, maybe whoever you booked through, like maybe it was a scam. Like you hear all this stuff about scammers and things like that. And you know, like you hear all of those horror stories in the Caribbean and in other places when you're traveling. So I was like, I think you got scammed. And he's like on his phone trying to figure things out, trying to figure out who he can call. And he gets a call, and it's our driver. And the driver says, they won't let me in at the front gate. I need you to go and talk to the security guard and get them to let me in. And I'm thinking like, why won't they let him in? Because I assumed that this was like a normal transport person. Like we had a transport van getting us to and from the resort, like for the airport and for the other wedding festivities. So I thought this would have been like that. So Tyler went and talked to them and got them to let him in. At this point, it's 5:30. And the guy pulls up, and it's just a regular car. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just a guy who, like Uber, you know, who just uses his car and transports people to and from excursions, whatever. I get in the back of his car, and his laundry is hanging in the car. And I was like, again, this is weird, but you know, like we're in the Dominican, like island time. Maybe he just had to run and pick up his dry cleaning, and that's why he was late getting to us. I don't know. So then I asked the guy, I said, you know, how far are we going? And he said, oh, 25 minutes. And I'm in my head thinking like, I feel really sick. What if I need like a bathroom or need to throw up or whatever? Because at this point, I'm still feeling so sick to my stomach. And I think part of it is nerves, because I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where we're going. I don't like surprises. And part of it was just my stomach issues that I've been having for like 24 hours. And so we get through this rural area and we pull up to this beachfront. But it's a beachfront, but there's like a retaining wall. So I could see out the front, and I knew that we were at the beach, but I couldn't see like what was directly ahead of us because of this retaining wall. And so we stop in this like weird alley that has so much mud because it rained so much the day before. And our driver gets out and he said, oh, just give me 1 minute. I have to get something out of the back. I'm like, okay, where's he going? What is he getting out of the back? At this point, I'm starting to feel scared. And I'm looking at Tyler, and Tyler doesn't seem scared, but at the same time, like he seems apprehensive. And I'm like, does he even know what's going on? Like, what is this? And I'm starting to get a little freaked out. So the driver got out. He's in the back of the trunk trying to figure out whatever it is he's figuring out. And then the next thing I know, this woman gets in the car with us. She gets in the driver's seat and she turns around to us and she says, okay, we have something great planned for you. And she takes a blindfold and she blindfolds Tyler. And my eyes just got so wide. Tyler said I looked terrified. He said like the last thing he remembers before she put the blindfold on him is just my face, just like terrified. He said all the color just drained from it. I'm like, who is this woman? Why is there a blindfold involved? Like that is not my vibe at all. Like blindfolds terrify me. I told you surprises terrify me. I like to know what's happening. I like to be able to plan for it. So this is just all really starting to freak me out at this point. So then the woman turns to me and says, okay, your turn. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. And she's like, oh, come on, it'll be fine. We have a great surprise. She's like, trust me. And I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't know you. I'm in a foreign country. I don't have any identification on me because Tyler said I didn't need to bring anything because I didn't know where we were going. I have just my phone and nothing else. I'm wearing sandals and a dress, so I can't even run away from her. I'm terrified at this point. So she puts the blindfold on me, and then next thing I know, she's driving the car. So I'm like, okay, in a foreign country, blindfold on, strange woman I don't know, now driving the car with me blindfolded. And then I reach across the car seat, and I realize that Tyler is not in the car next to me, or in the seat next to me in the car. And so then I really start freaking out and I start trying to talk to her. And then I'm thinking of all of the thrillers I've ever read and all of the true crime videos that I've ever watched. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is how I die. This is how I die. So I keep trying to take off the blindfold and she keeps telling me, no. And she said, no peeking, God will know even if I don't. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. And then she stops the car and she gets me out and she's walking me down what I can feel based on feeling the sand is the beach. And at this point, people were like, okay, you had to have known at this point. I really didn't. I still thought it was a romantic dinner on the beach for two and that they were just making this big grand reveal. Either that or I was being trafficked. And I wasn't honestly sure at this point which it was. So I get walked down the beach, I get stopped, and then she takes off the blindfold and I'm facing the parking lot. And then I turn around and he's standing there at the end of this little white aisle with rose petals and white roses and this big heart that says, will you marry me? And there's a video and I will play you part of the video. When I turn around, the camera person missed my initial reaction when I turned around, but I think it was just like, and then I kind of all put the pieces together and I figured out what was happening. So then the proposal happened. He got down on one knee. I said yes. As soon as I said yes, we get swept down the beach by this photographer to start taking pictures. Because at this point it's already dusk. And so we're taking all of these pictures in the sand. And then I was like, Tyler, that photographer, is that our driver? And Tyler said yes. So the driver was also the photographer. So now all the pieces were coming together as to why his laundry was in the car with us. So we did some posed pictures. So because we were late getting there, we didn't leave until 5:30 and we were supposed to leave at 5. All of this had to happen super fast because we were losing daylight really quickly. So we took some sunset pictures on the beach, and then they had this little table with 2 chairs and champagne. And come to find out, all of this came about because Tyler found this service that does beach proposals. And actually about 500 feet down the beach from us, there was another couple getting engaged with a whole different backdrop. And he was talking to this woman on WhatsApp for months, and there was all of these things that he could pick in these different packages. And so he opted for the package that included the champagne, and it was a nice bottle of champagne. So we took some pictures of him popping the cork and all of that. And then we're sitting down, and then it finally starts like resonating with me what's happening. And I'm asking all of these questions, like, who knew this was happening? Are we allowed to do this on someone else's wedding vacation? Like, what is the etiquette for this? I don't know. Turns out he looked it up, and the people on Reddit said it was fine to do on someone else's wedding vacation as long as all the wedding stuff was done. And we did check with the bride, and she was totally fine with it. She was just happy for us. She was not at all upset, didn't feel any type of way about it, just only good feelings, which I was pretty sure that was going to happen. But just out of respect for her and her wedding, we did check with her, and she was just happy for us. We're sitting there trying to drink the champagne, and I'm looking at the ring, I'm asking all these questions, I'm putting all the pieces together, and just still in shock and in awe that he put all of this together for me. There was a photographer there and we were gonna have pictures of it, and just really just trying to take it all in. And so we're drinking the champagne, and it's good champagne. And the photographer and the woman who runs the service came up and they were like, okay, let us know when you want to go back to the hotel. We were like, okay, sounds good. And we're drinking, just trying to take in the moment. And then they come back again about 2 or 3 minutes later and they said, let us know when you're done and ready to go back. And we were like, okay, thanks. Still trying to drink the champagne and everything. And then a couple minutes later, they come back again. And Tyler and I realized like they're trying to get this moving. And then I realized that they're packing up the little backdrop and everything. So I was like, okay, they're wanting to be done with this and move on with their lives. But we paid for the champagne and it was good champagne and we wanted to drink it, but we couldn't take it in the car with us. But they were like kind of pushing us to get a move on and leave. So we proceeded to chug that bottle of champagne. I drank at least half of that champagne bottle so fast. And remember, backstory, I had not eaten anything in almost 24 hours. I was hungry, I was feeling sick, I was having all of these emotions because I thought I was getting kidnapped. And now I've drank half a bottle of champagne. So the ride back was interesting, especially since there was a cop following us for a while and we were pretty sure we were getting pulled over, but he didn't actually pull us over. And again, I'm just freaking out thinking I don't have any identification. What if we get pulled over? I don't have money to pay him off. All of these things just running through my head a mile a minute. Because if you know me in real life, that is the type of person that I am. So anyway, that is the story about how I thought my proposal was a kidnapping. It's a fun story and I'm so glad that it happened the way it did, and I love having this memory. I think the first thing that I said to Tyler after I said that yes, I would marry him was no blindfolds ever again. The blindfold was very unnecessary. And he said, yeah, I told them you wouldn't like that, but they said it was just part of the thing. And he's like, I'm glad you went along with it, which me too, because I almost didn't. So there you have it. There is my engagement story, and now I'm ready to film more videos. Like I said, everything I use will be in the description box. Let me know any questions you have in the comment section below. I'm sure there were other details or other things that I left out, but I just wanted to give you like the meat and potatoes of the story, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have, so drop them below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas so far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!